So this Sunday, we're going to be there again. Dolphins and the Vikings, 1 o'clock down here in Miami. Dolphins. It's still you're pounding your head against the wall because Tua is going to be out again. You're going to have to roll with Skylar Thompson, Teddy Bridgewater likely backing up Skylar Thompson. We saw with Skylar Thompson last week. In fairness to him, he wasn't meant to come into that game last week. Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, I know how much you harp about it. I keep telling you to shut up because we get it. We get it. Teddy Bridgewater never had a concussion. He was fine. Just one idiot spotter was like, "Oh, pull him out," because anytime a Dolphins player even just has a blade of grass touch your head, you got to pull him out of the game. But Scott Thompson now is coming into this week with a full week of starters reps, practicing with Tyreek Hill, practicing with Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill and Waddle, who were limited earlier in the week, look like they're both good to go. Byron, or not Byron Jones. Byron Jones is still out. Xavier Howard looks to be good to go. Teron Armstead is still 50-50 up in the air. Durham Smythe also has some injury issues. But this game, man, I was optimistic last week going into the Jets game, mostly because, A, obviously we did not know that Teddy Bridgewater was going to get knocked out on the literal first play of scrimmage. First play of scrimmage, he gets knocked
With
out.
the most ridiculous. I wasn't able to go on his his
Monday
game
show.
review, his
Yeah.
Monday show where he reviewed, but that was the most
It,
egregious
everything about
intentional
that was
ground.
so bad.
It
Yeah.
was so bad from top to
Yeah.
bottom. It was like,
It was so
why?
bad. It was so bad. But again, it's in the past. There's nothing we can do about it. We can yell and scream all we want, but
I'm yelling and screaming regardless.
ultimately it's not going to do anything. But this week, he's likely going to be the backup. Scott Thompson's going to get the full work of things. It's still a very injured team. Like the injury list continues to grow. There's like 13 guys or something ridiculous on that injury list right now. And if I had known this time last week that Teddy wasn't going to play, that X wasn't going to play, that Teron Armstead was going to be out after the halfway through the first quarter,
It was 8 snaps.
yeah. So I not even. I would have sat here and thought like, okay, yeah, the Jets are probably going to take that one. Fast forward this week, I really like the Vikings as a team. They obviously got embarrassed by the Eagles, but that's proving to be not a big deal because Eagles might just be the best team in football. They come in here 4-1. Justin Jefferson is arguably the hottest wide receiver in football. 547 catches, 2 touchdowns on the year. Kirk Cousins last week started the game 19 for 19. He's had himself a good season. He's had himself a Kirk Cousins season. Dalvin Cook finally started to get some action last week. Got in the end zone twice in the first half. So, are we at all optimistic for tomorrow? Are we any sort of optimistic that
I
we're going to
am
win?
actually.
Fair
So
enough.
their defense isn't as good as the Jets defense, and you won't hear me say this anymore after this show, so you better listen up, Jets fans. Uh, the Jets actually do have a pretty decent defensive front, and their corners, when they were able to drop back 7 corners pretty much the entire game,
They did.
sometimes 8. And so with that, when you only have 3 receivers running routes against, they're pretty much everybody's doubled up.
Yeah,
And
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 also it doesn't help that in his like third play he lost his play card, so like he's
yeah,
he's out there. He's not expecting to play. He's in a hostile environment, even though we know there's a lot of Dolphins. Whenever the Dolphins and the Jets play up in New York, there's a lot of Dolphins fans in the stands.
I mean, we heard the chants, "Let's go Dolphins" going into halftime. We heard them after we scored to go down by
Yeah,
2.
there is that. But this week it is he's gonna be at home. He's getting the full rep, the full reps as the starter in practice this week. Do you believe in him to be able to carry us to the win?
I rewatched the game afterwards. I did suffer through that, and he was a little bit slow with his reads, but that I think I can attribute that to no one really being open. So I think if Armstead can even get going, and then Austin Jackson, as ridiculous as it
Yeah.
sounds, like if you would have told me last year that I
Uh,
was hoping Austin Jackson would play,
yeah.
I would have told you to like jump off a roof. And you know what? Austin Jackson, our offensive coordinator, was extremely optimistic that he would be activated off IR and play this Sunday. Earlier today, Mike McDaniel was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, let's slow down on that. We're not 100% sure."
Has he?
Um,
Because he hasn't practiced at all yet, has he?
He's been practicing, but has been like a limited basis. So he wasn't spotted this morning by media, but media is only open for like 15 minutes. So he can come in afterwards. He's probably, getting massage or taped up. It could easily be something like that. And so if he's able to come in and, at least do a little bit better than Greg Little and Teron
Pun
Arms,
intended.
yeah, and then Teron Armstead just can tough it out for a game. I almost want to say like bench him, but then we get destroyed because
Yeah.
we have no
They got
backup
Danielle Hunter
tackles.
there that would just pummel. He's gonna do it to either tackle anyways. And
I
if
don't.
he's out, it's either left or the right. He can line up wherever he wants, and he's just gonna run through him. Because Liam
Yeah,
Eichenberg, he's not playing tackle this year, but he's not been good. So
Liam Eichenberg has been
he's not
really
helping.
bad.
He's not gonna be able to help out the tackle that well.
But I think that also is going to be going into the game plan where we're going to be designing a lot of rollouts and trying to get quick throws. So I expect a lot of that this time that he didn't get those reps. He didn't get, where he's able to have the timing down to be able to throw those quick throws.
Yeah.
Now we saw that he can sling it. Like he throws it on a line. He just
Well, he
needs
throws
to
it far. Just God knows where it's going once he gets beyond 20
no,
yards.
but even the one where he threw it so hard that it went right through. Well, there was two that Edmonds dropped, but the second one Edmonds dropped, it literally went right through his hands, into the bleachers, uh, and he it easily should have been caught. Then there was the one at Tanner Connor that should have been caught over the
Yeah.
middle. Like he has a good cannon, and he made it look kind of effortless, unlike it looks with Tua. Unfortunately, I do,
Yeah, but
but
it is
it
weird that Dolphins fans, even the ones that have been Tua haters, are just saying like, "Man, I miss Tua so much." How
exactly.
Tua looked the first three games, was a top five quarterback in the season, up to the point of his injury. It's so bizarre now the change of narrative. How it's like how last year we're like, come on, anybody else besides Tua is probably winning this game. So obviously that wasn't true, but now Tua is the difference on this team right now. You look at the numbers, Tua wins games. Tua
Yeah.
wins about 70% of his games, maybe a little less. Whenever we have somebody else in there,
If
it's
you
not even
look at
close to the same
if you
story.
look at our last 10 games with Tua, we are 9-1. If you look at our last 10 games without Tua, we're 1-9.
Mm-hmm.
It,
That kind of
that's
paints a
that's
picture for itself.
basically, yeah, it's basically, just how it is.
Now, when we're out without him, we have been with Jacoby Brissett, Teddy Bridgewater, Skylar Thompson. So it makes sense that any team that goes to their backup, it falls off. But when you see Tua winning those games, the questions do have to start to go away because he's getting it done. Before he got hurt, he's had already over 1,000 yards on the season. He had 8 touchdowns. He did have the 3 interceptions, but he was number one in was it QBR. His
Mm,
efficiency numbers were through the roof. His accuracy numbers were through the roof. And now you bring in Skylar Thompson, which is a completely different quarterback. He's
yeah,
not going to be he's not efficient. He's not going to have a high QBR. But he does have the ability for big plays. If
he
you can
does.
get Tyreek Hill to bust out over the top, which we didn't get to see any of that last week with him or Waddle, and
I,
both of them were hurt, so it makes sense. If you can get a few plays where they open up the defense over the top, that is your best opportunity to beat this Vikings team.
yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be, the key is designing the plays to be able to get the ball in your playmaker's hands. Make sure he gets the ball out quick. Make sure he gets it to them. Let them make the plays. That's basically what everybody's been telling Tua for his entire career. It's basically what he just needs to do right now. And as far as the defensive side, we need to just blitz. Like I don't even have X on Justin Jefferson and then have him shadow and then put, I like Adam Thielen, but I think Nick Needham can take Adam Thielen decently well at this point in Adam Thielen's career. So I, I just blitz. Like we got no, we aren't getting pressure without blitzing,
Yeah.
which is beyond me. Um, because we have Melvin Ingram, we have Jalen Phillips, we have Emmanuel Ogba, we have Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, Zach Sealer. This defense is loaded. Even then, we have Andrew Van Ginkel, who is explosive at getting to the quarterback. We have Alandon Roberts, who's good at blitzing. But you know what? Alandon Roberts isn't good in coverage. He's a liability in coverage. So is Jerome
Jerome Baker,
Baker.
yeah, he had one good play last week, but that's an anomaly.
That
He got lucky.
that was a lucky. He never turns around for the ball. It hit the back of his helmet for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, Tyndall needs to get more snaps. I understand he's a rookie,
Well, he's
fifth
been
round.
hurt.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, yes. I don't think he's been playing at all.
He hasn't been playing because he's been
No, he's had an injury. There,
no.
yeah, because the defensive coordinator
He's
was talking about
no
his
look
comeback,
look he's not on the injury report.
but he has been pretty much all season long.
No, he would have to be on the injury report if he was injured. So he has not been injured at all this entire season, and they just haven't been rotating him in. For instance, Andrew Van Ginkel, like he was injured with his appendix surgery, but he after being fully healthy and playing all of the special team snaps, he got I think 2 snaps, 3 snaps on defense. Then finally last week he got some more. But those are the guys that you need to get involved. Tyndall can go and run with a running back. He can go and blitz really good. We saw that he played 2 snaps last week, and one of them we saw a great open field tackle on a pretty you know swifty running back. I mean,
That's a word I guess we'll use.
we'll use Swifty. I can't really think
He's
of
a
the
Taylor Swift fan.
No, DeAndre Swift.
Taylor Swift fans are referred to as Swifties.
I did not know that.
I am dating a girl, so I do know
Screw you.
that.
Anyway, shifty. That was the word I was looking for. He made a good tackle on a shifty running back, and I think Tyndall needs to get more involved in this defense. I'm slowly losing faith in Josh Boyer. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But we can't keep dropping 7 in coverage and just rushing 4,
Yeah.
especially if we're not going to do any stunts. It's literally
Last week we needed to blitz a lot more because of the fact that we were so weak on the secondary. Like Javon Holland was really the only guy that we were comfortable with where he was. Like he was the only defensive secondary piece where we were comfortable with him. Because Nick Needham, as good as he is, he's not an outside corner.
No.
And we saw that be an issue.
But that's why I like his matchup with Thielen, because Thielen's not an outside guy. He's going to be running in the slot. And we know Needham in the slot, given he hasn't practiced there all year. We know him in the slot the past 2 years was one of the best corners. So if he can, even be close to how he was last year in the slot against Thielen and X on Justin Jefferson, I like our matchups.
Yeah, that would be the key to winning. You want to get pressure on Kirk Cousins and play man defense all across the board, because the zone defense hasn't. We've seen it not work time and time again. So
it hasn't worked.
And the Bears last week, you look at first half and second half, we're getting no pressure on Kirk Cousins. And in the second half, they finally started to amp the pressure a little bit, and the game started to shift a little bit from Kirk Cousins is not going to make any athletic plays. He wants to stay in the pocket. So if you can just make the pocket collapse on him, even just a little bit, like I know Jalen Phillips has good numbers of getting near the quarterback. He's just not finishing. Same thing with Agba this year. That might be enough to rattle his cage a little bit.
Agba's actually been losing snaps to Melvin Ingram. You would think that it'd be Jalen Phillips.
Well, we know Melvin Ingram has been the best defensive player on the team.
But you would think that it'd be Jalen Phillips that is losing those snaps. It's actually Agba is losing those snaps. And then that's why they haven't been rotating Andrew Van Ginkel in. But I think if you're able to, get them all pretty fresh and in there, because we see Melvin Ingram, he has a vet rest. He barely practices. He's fat. Like,
he's linebacker fat, like relatively to an NFL athlete.
He's not me fat. He's NFL athlete.
I'm clipping that and just sending it to the chat.
Yeah, but anyways, if you can keep someone like him fresh, we saw what he could do against the Patriots. We saw what he can do against the Ravens. So if we can keep these guys fresh and rotating them in and out good and getting pressure and, actually sending a blitz, using the amoeba package, shifting guys all around, doing stunts. Last week, it was just like, I felt like I was watching 50s football when they just have 4 guys bull rushing, no stunts, no real good spin moves. I saw, they tried a spin move and it just looked like a toddler. They just need to get pressure. And that's going to be one of the biggest challenges because this is also one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league. Part of which is because Justin Jefferson gets so open
Yeah,
so
so
quickly
quickly.
that, but with X on him in press man coverage, I like that matchup right away. Justin Jefferson is one of the best, if not the best receiver in the league.
Has been so far this year. I think he
Yes,
has been the best wide receiver in football last year. I mean, last
last year was
week,
the
last week he had 10 catches for 100 yards in the first half alone.
yeah
And going into the season, how high I had him in my fantasy wide receiver rankings. I actually had him as wide receiver one. He's currently
over
been that
Cooper
so
Cup.
far.
Yeah,
Yeah, so far through the season, that's came to be. So how do you think this game's going to go? Give us a score prediction.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be a little bit lower scoring, but not like too low. It's not gonna be boring. I'm gonna say it's gonna be like 29-27.
That's actually pretty high scoring. That's high score. So that beats the over. The over under is 45.5. That beats the
Oh,
over.
really?
Yeah. Uh, you guys know I'd never like to. You guys know I'd never like to remove my bias and say that a team I like is going to lose, and I'm not doing that today.
Well, by the way, mine was Dolphins win.
Yeah,
Just
we know.
just clarifying.
If
I'm not removing my bias either.
I'm gonna go Miami Dolphins actually low scoring game of 20-17. I think the Dolphins struggle to move the ball, but just kind of get it done in the end. And that would take the Dolphins to 4-2. And let's say we do lose this game, we do have a very nice stretch of games for when Tua does return. Like the Steelers, not in
Dude,
particular order, the Steelers, the Texans, the Browns.
Steelers on Sunday Night Football. I'll talk more about it next Friday, but just a Sunday night game, Tua's return against Brian Flores and the Steelers, like that, the energy in that stadium is going to be ridiculous, especially if we can win this game.
I was just about if we can take the W this week, go to 4-2, get things back on the winning stretch of things, that would be great to welcome him back in the building next Sunday on NBC Sunday Night Football.